Weight loss should not be your life. For a lot of people it is, but I hope it's not after you watch this video.
I bet you feel it now, baby. Especially since we've...
What's up, y'all? It's My The Maverick TV, and I'm back with another video. Okay, so today is just gonna be a little bit of motivation and just like, not really a realization, because it's like, I know this for myself, but I think this is something that needs to be like amplified, right? Especially for my channel. If you have like fitness goals that you're trying to achieve, if you feel like you've been at it for a while, you're hitting a plateau, it's not been sustainable for you, you're not achieving the results that you want to achieve, literally keep watching, because what I'm about to say is really, really important, okay? All right, so the main idea of this video, all of these ideas go back to this one major thing, and this is that slow and steady wins the race, right? When people say that about weight loss, it's not a fluke. They're not trying to gaslight you. It's not a lie. It's not just a recommendation. It's literally the only way to do it. The only way, right? Like, I think a lot of companies try to sell like all of these like get thin fast gimmicks and like take this and put this in your drink and take this pill. No, like it's all complete crap. Okay, and that's so you can buy into capitalism and still not lose the weight that you want to lose, or maybe even gain weight, because you know there's the whole placebo effect, whatever. We're not going to get into that, but there's no like magic potion that's going to help you get the dream physique that you want. It's literally work and discipline, right? I know there's like Ozempic and stuff like that. All that does, right, is just turn off your hunger hormones, so you just eat less. And you don't need to get Ozempic to lose weight, right? You could just eat less. So yeah, slow and steady wins the race. I like to give the vacation example. Let's say you have a vacation coming up in the next 2 months, and you're like, I need to lose 20 pounds. Let's say you actually lose the 20 pounds, right? First of all, 10 pounds a month is actually unsustainable for weight loss. But I'm talking about, right, if you have like 20 to 30 pounds to lose, not if you are morbidly obese or obese, that weight will fall off faster. Okay, that's not a crazy amount. But if you are like, you only got about 20, 30 pounds, you know, the sustainable rate for weight loss is about 4 pounds per month. So that's very fast. You probably did extreme things to get there, right? You get to the wedding, you eat whatever you want. Then you come back from the wedding, you eat even more. Because let's be honest here, a lot of people don't go back to the gimmick or the extreme thing they did to get there after, you know, they've achieved what they wanted to achieve. And the reason why is because it's so extreme, right? Like you ended up associating negative thoughts and emotions to what you did to get there. So you're like, I don't need to go back to that. Next thing you know, you've gained the 20 pounds back, maybe even more, right? So that's one of my favorite scenarios to give. And that shows you right there that doing things extremely fast are just not gonna get you to where you need to be, especially long term, right? The goal is to lose the weight and to keep it off, right? To be able to maintain it. It's not a flex how fast you got there or how fast you lost the weight. The flex is being able to maintain the weight loss and achieve your dream physique and stay there, you know? And I think that also comes from not comparing yourself to others, right? Like you may see others getting their results and like they already have abs and blah, blah, blah. That makes you kind of want to, you know, speed up your process, and you literally cannot do that. You have to focus on yourself and your own journey and just take things day by day. That's it. Take it day by day, right? So you can either have 6 months of excuses or 6 months of progress, right? 6 months is going to pass by anyway. So you can either lock in, you know, be disciplined, stick to whatever your calorie budget is and you're eating, right? Still have some balance. You could still live life. You could still fit in those foods that you love, but don't go 6 months cold turkey extreme. And then you're going to look back and resent those 6 months and maybe even gain all of that weight back, right? So just taking things day by day, even if it's a year, okay? Like you could still live your life and lose weight. Next thing I say is very important is actually liking what you eat and do, right? I think a lot of people look online and be like, oh, I have to eat 3 pounds of shaved chicken breast and 2 pounds of broccoli every day. And like, I don't eat that. Like, no, like literally you can find foods that are tasty for you and filling and still fit that into a calorie deficit, okay? That's literally what is the main thing. Like that's what losing weight is, a calorie deficit. Calories in, calories out, right? If you're not losing weight, you're not in a calorie deficit. I don't care what you say. You can eat McDonald's and still be in a calorie deficit and lose weight, okay? So that's just finding what you like, doing the math, right? You still want it to be clean because you want to have a healthy body. It's not just about being skinny, right? You actually want to look good. You want to feel good in your clothes. So that does come from eating whole foods and things like that. If you need any ideas, make sure you tune into my shorts channel where I post what I eat in a day, almost every day, okay? And then like what you do. If you don't like running, why are you running? If you don't like cycling, why are you cycling? I would say everyone needs to weight train though, because it's very important for your bone density. As we get older, you know, we start to lose muscle, which can create a whole lot of other problems. So I would say everyone needs to weight train. You can find what that looks like for you in the gym, because it doesn't look the same for everyone. You don't have to go to the gym for 2 hours. I go for 45 minutes 3 times a week. That's all I need. And I've done a cut and still been able to maintain muscle and was not skinny, nothing like that, like still fit, right? So find what you actually like to do to like get exercise and just stick to that, right? Be consistent with that. I would say repetition is definitely key. Like as soon as you find those meals that you like and you're like, okay, this is sustainable. I have the time in the day to prep this and it'll be ready and I enjoy it. I look forward to eating my meals. That should be your thought process. You should not be like, ugh, I have to eat this chicken and broccoli, right? I have to eat this nasty oatmeal. No, I look forward to eating. Why? Because my meals are good, they're tasty, and they're filling. I'm literally almost like full all the time on a calorie deficit. So find what you like to eat, find what you like to do, and repeat that. The only difference, right, is the amount of calories, right? If you are eating foods that you actually like, the only difference between your weight loss phase, you maintaining your weight, and you gaining muscle is the amount of calories. I would say you should still be eating the same types of food, right? Whole foods that are good for your body, because you don't need to take a bunch of supplements. You should be getting those nutrients from the food that you eat, right? So I think that should be the only difference between those 3 different phases. And those are the only 3 different phases. Either you're losing, maintaining, or gaining, right? The next thing, it's not bad to say no. Do not feel bad for saying no. I'm talking about to the late nights, to the Hinge drinking. I don't want to say the other word because I don't want to get blocked by YouTube, but you know what I mean by Hinge drinking, right? This is all part of the process. What those things do, right? Like let's say you go out with your friends that one night, or no, I'm gonna use an even better example, because I don't think it's bad to like enjoy yourself. Like I said, you should still live life. You shouldn't have to like connect negative emotions to this part of your life, this phase of your life, right? It should only be a phase. Weight loss should not be your life. For a lot of people it is, but I hope it's not after you watch this video. But let's say like your friends are inviting you out every weekend. You go out every weekend, right? and you're in a deficit, let's say 5 to 6 days out of the week, but that one day you go out and you go balls to the wall, you're drinking whatever you want, you eat whatever you want, the next morning, do you think that you're going to want to get up and do what you need to do as far as whatever exercise you're doing, whatever prep you have to do, whatever? And especially if you're doing that every weekend, you will eventually just eat or drink yourself out of your deficit, depending on how big or small your deficit is. And it shouldn't be that big anyway, because it should still be sustainable, right? Unless you're someone who's like training for a bodybuilding competition, whatever. But those nights can really make you feel like the weight loss is impossible, right? Because you just can't say no. So saying no is a part of the process. You're gonna have to sacrifice some things, especially if you have goals. And I think a big helper with that is just finding people who are like more aligned with what you want to accomplish in life, right? If you're constantly exposing yourself to people who like do not respect their bodies, are not maybe into like fitness as much as you are, or just like self-respect, taking care of yourself and your body and your mental health, right? Because it all works together. Then I think that's a bigger question of like, who do you have around you, right? And why is it so hard to just lock in and focus on yourself? Because those people should honestly be cheering for you. They should see that, and they should get inspired themselves, right? And I think that gets into the last thing that I think is also truly important, and I kind of touched on this a little bit, but it's having balance, right? I do not think that you have to go completely cold turkey. I've done this several times in my life, and it has gotten me ahead. But like I said, I've connected a lot of like negative emotions to that time in my life, because I've had maybe 90 days or 40 days where I've done a transformation, right? And I sacrificed a lot. Like, I did not go out at all. I probably didn't drink at all. I was just so self-obsessed. And I think that self-obsession can have its positives, its pros, and it can have its cons as well. I think that there's a small percent of the population that can actually truly go cold turkey and just never look back. I would say, I don't think I'm one of those people. I don't think a lot of us actually are. I think the healthiest way, right? The same thing for like a person who is struggling from alcoholism. The same thing for a person who is, has any like addiction, right? You never want to go cold turkey, especially if you're someone who struggles with food addiction. Like, you can't put the food down. Imagine that type of person went from eating 3,000 calories a day to just eating nothing, right? You would go crazy and you would just hinge, right? You would just eat everything in sight, right? So it's kind of the same thing. You want to weed a lot of those negative habits out so it becomes a lifestyle for you, not something that's temporary, right? That's literally like the overarching main theme of this. Like, weight loss, being healthy is not something that, it's not a mechanism that you use for a temporary amount of time. Those tools that you use to gain your dream physique, they should literally just be used in your lifestyle, right? And I think that comes from implementing balance, especially if you're someone who's starting out or feels like it's a hard process and you're struggling right now, right? So I would not recommend going from 100% to nothing. 80-20 rule, right? Like, you could still enjoy some of those foods you love. Maybe not every weekend, maybe you start with twice a month, right? And if you feel like, actually, like, I realize I don't really need this, or I actually don't really like this anymore. Some things we really just do out of habit. So, maybe after twice a month, you're like, maybe once a month, and then nothing at all, right? And that's how you start to implement newer habits, right? New neural pathways, and that becomes a part of your lifestyle, not something that you just did temporarily to gain a reward. And then, yeah, ultimately deciding what you want your lifestyle to look like. Are you someone who wants to go out every weekend and enjoy a meal out every weekend? Or what does that look like for you? So I think a lot of people have to decide that, right? And then start to implement some of those healthier habits to eventually gain the lifestyle that they truly want. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video and any of these tips were helpful to you, make sure you comment down below. I'm on the road to 300 subscribers, so make sure you subscribe to my channel, okay? Send this to anyone that you know that this video could help. Like, please. And thank you. Okay, enjoy.